Imagine a poor boy born in a small town in Brazil becomes the greatest footballer of all time, lifts the World Cup trophy at the age of 17, wins it again and again, a record nobody has ever broken. For millions of football fans, that is all they need to know to guess the King Pelé. Let's go back to the beginning. In a small town called Três Corações in Brazil, a kid named Edson Arantes do Nascimento was born. His family was poor. There were days when money was hard to find. His father had been a footballer, not a superstar, just a man who loved the game, and young Pelé inherited that same love. The problem was, he could not always afford a real football, so he improvised. Sometimes he kicked a sock stuffed with newspaper. Sometimes he used a grapefruit. Anything that could roll became a football. And while other kids were playing, Pelé was practicing. Soon, people started noticing. This kid was different. His touch was different. His movement was different. His imagination was different. At just 15 years old, he signed for Santos, one of Brazil's biggest clubs. Most teenagers are trying to find their place in the world. Pelé was already preparing to conquer it. Then came 1958, the World Cup in Sweden. Pelé was only 17 years old. Most players spend years trying to earn a place in a World Cup squad. Pelé was still a teenager, and at first, he was not even guaranteed to play. He had been injured, and some people doubted whether he was ready. Then he stepped onto the pitch, and football changed forever. In the quarterfinal, he scored the winning goal. In the semifinal, he scored a hat-trick against France. 3 goals on the biggest stage against some of the best players in the world. Then came the final. Brazil versus Sweden, the host nation. The pressure was enormous, but Pelé did not care. He scored twice. One of those goals looked like something from another planet. He flicked the ball over a defender and volleyed it into the net. 17 years old, world champion, the youngest player ever to win a World Cup. And just like that, a superstar was born. But the story was far from over. 4 years later, Pelé returned for the 1962 World Cup. By now, everyone knew who he was. Everyone feared him. Defenders kicked him. Teams targeted him. Injuries slowed him down. But Brazil still managed to win the tournament. Back-to-back champions. Pelé had his second World Cup winner's medal. Then came 1966, and this time, everything went wrong. Defenders hacked him down again and again. The referees offered little protection. Brazil crashed out early. Pelé was frustrated, exhausted, and disappointed. Some reports even claimed he considered never playing another World Cup again. For many players, that would have been the end. But Pelé was not most players, because 4 years later, he came back. And what happened next became football history. The 1970 World Cup in Mexico is often remembered as the greatest World Cup ever played. Brazil assembled one of the greatest teams ever seen. And at the center of it all was Pelé. Older, wiser, still brilliant. This was not the teenage sensation from 1958. This was a complete footballer. He could score, create, pass, lead, and control a game. He made everything look easy. Brazil dazzled the world. Match after match, goal after goal, moment after moment. Then came the final. Brazil versus Italy. 2 giants of football. And once again, Pelé delivered. He scored the opening goal, rising high above the defenders and powering a header into the net. It remains one of the most iconic goals in World Cup history. But he was not finished. Throughout the match, he created chances and helped his teammates score as well. Brazil won 4-1. The world stood and applauded. And Pelé lifted his 3rd World Cup trophy. No player before him had done it. No player after him has done it. That is why Pelé's World Cup record still feels unreal. 4 World Cups played, 3 won, 12 goals scored, countless moments created, and memories that have survived for generations. But numbers alone do not explain Pelé, because Pelé was bigger than statistics. He turned football into a global language. He inspired kids in every corner of the world. Kids who had never been to Brazil. Kids who had never seen him play. Kids who simply heard stories about a player who could do things nobody else could. And maybe that is why the debate never truly ends. Every generation has its heroes. Every era has its legends. People argue about Messi. People argue about Maradona. People argue about Cristiano Ronaldo. And they all deserve their place in football history. But when it comes to the World Cup, one name still stands above everybody else. Pelé. The boy who kicked a ball made of socks. The teenager who shocked the world. The king who conquered football's biggest stage. Not once, not twice, but 3 times. And that is why many people still call Pelé the greatest World Cup player of all time.